While becoming a gentleman is something often idolized among common calculus performers, the process is a long and drawn-out one. However, there are certain tricks and steps to make the process easier to follow.
Through the application of the Gentleman's Guide to Calculus, we can show you what it takes to truly become a gentleman of calculus.
Probably the most important rule in the book, a true gentleman knows that a good bit of calisthenics is necessary before he can begin performing calculus. Take this poor fellow, for example. A lack of understanding for the most simple of stretches have left him totally unprepared. Don't follow his actions. We'll begin with the basic warm-ups. The function y equals x squared is a beginner position and can be performed by any gentleman in training. Visualize the function, then assume the position. Notice the way his arms stretch over his head like a parabola, and the stiffness in the legs. Excellent. This stretch will be more complicated. The function y equals e to the x requires a little bit more focus and strain and may be particularly difficult for those not comfortable with natural logs. However, it is quite possible. Can you feel the abdominal burn? The slightest curve of the back and outstretched arms and legs really work the muscles. Another excellent pose. Only a true gentleman can execute a maneuver like this. The function y equals 1 over x involves the use of asymptotes and requires the ultimate focus to achieve. A perfect execution. Look at the way he focuses his weight onto his leg and bends to approach his axes. Absolutely incredible.
While calisthenics may not be the first precaution that comes to mind when preparing to do calculus, it is an absolute necessary process that ensures the brain's total focus relaxation. Once you've mastered the art, you're one step closer to becoming a real gentleman. You may think that considering the extent of your ability to perform excessive calculus is a bit unnecessary, but it's the gentleman's way to establish where your ability stands and how long you can persevere.
Here's someone who decided not to exercise the highest caution and wound up completely amiss from their goals. He decided to flesh out the most basic of concepts. Don't be like him.
Defining limits is one of the basic functions of being a gentleman of calculus. We'll start off with the limit as x approaches 0 of cosine x minus 1 all over 0. If you're familiar with limits, you should know that the first step to defining any limit is to attempt to plug in h. Here, the 0 has been plugged into cosine x, which according to the unit circle equals 1. 1 minus 1 is 0, but for the purpose of grading, make sure you show all work when defining limits, especially in the case of L'Hopital's rule. 0 over 0 equals 0, so now we can prove that the limit as x approaches 0 of cosine x minus 1 all over 0 is 0. This is how a gentleman is able to define his limits. Here's another example of a limit involving trigonometric identities. This one is the limit as x approaches 0 of sine x over tan x. As we already know, tan x can be defined as sine x over cosine x, so the denominator has been replaced with that. To remove the fraction from the bottom, we multiply by the reciprocal and place the denominator with 1. This step has been illustrated to the side of the function because it is necessary for the next step. Multiplying sine x by 1 over sine x cancels it out and leaves us with cosine x over 1. Plugging 0 into cosine x gives us 1, so the equation we're left with is 1 over 1. 1 over 1 equals 1, so we can prove that the limit as x approaches 0 of sine x over tan x is 1. Everything checks out.
Defining limits can be taken into account for both the aspects of being a true gentleman and being a master of calculus. Once your ability to do both has been established, the path to being a gentleman is paved before you. There's something that must be discussed before any further deviations can take place. The gift of calculus was not something wrought by human hands. The elder beings created it to contain a great evil sent down by the heavens to punish those who perform the art for malicious intent.
If the elder feels he has been disrespected, the consequences will be dire.
One of a gentleman's essentials is the ability to work with others.
If your forte is with integrands but not tangent line approximation, you should take heed of this advice and make sure to seek the guidance of your fellow gentlemen.
Only one of these fellows is truly in touch with their gentlemanly side, focusing their problems with the strongest invigoration while the others out of touch with reality, daydreaming about less pristine fortitudes. Here the two have decided to collaborate in order to achieve complete calculate nirvana. Take the integrand problem, for example. While the work is present on one's paper, it is not on the other's due to either a lack of understanding or a lack of effort. Even if the process is as simple as showing another how to manipulate the graphing calculator, a basic understanding of the needs of another gentleman is essential to becoming a gentleman oneself.
Through the utilization of collaboration, it is possible for anyone to follow in the gentleman's path.
Though understanding calculus may be difficult, and practicing the steps even more difficult, one can still become a gentleman through determination and feverish desire, like myself.
Sometimes, even a practical understanding is all that's needed to become a true gentleman of calculus. Anything is possible with the power of collaboration and willingness to learn.